Hello everybody, my name is and today I'll be doing a tutorial on how to make a desaturated icon and a colorized icon, because those are the two files that I will need to add your drink to the list of drinks. So a desat is just this right here. This one uh, is exactly what it sounds like, a desaturated icon, and colorized is this one. The colors basically indicate what color you want to put in what zone. So red is like region 1, green is like region 3, and yellow is region 4, something along those lines. Um, so anyways, you're going to go ahead and find your image online. Hopefully you will find one um, that is that has a transparent background, like this soup here. As you can see, the background is transparent, so that's very useful, but for the sake of the video, I will be showing you what to do if the icon that you have is not transparent. Okay, so um, let's see here. Uh, Alright, got my recording thing fixed. So essentially what you're gonna want to do, now having a glass, like a transparent glass like this, is probably the worst thing that you can do. So I'm not gonna bother going through and like removing the blue and stuff like that. But anyways, first thing that you're gonna want to do is download GIMP. That is the program that I'm using. It is a free program, so you don't have to worry about paying for anything. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure that your image is a 256 by 256. If it is not, you can go to Image up here and go down to Canvas Size and set it here, 256 by 256. Now, if that warps your image, all you have to do is once you've resized it, you can take whatever image you have and just drag it back here, and it'll like just make a new layer for you. And then you can hit, say like this is your new one, hit Shift S, and that'll let you scale it around. So this little lock here thing will let you change if you want this sort of scale to be locked. If not, you can unlock it and it'll let you do like this. But anyways, you get it to however you like it. You move the part in the center to actually move it. And then you can just hit scale, done. And that'll, and then that's how you move down the canvas size to 256 by 256, which is how you're gonna want to do it. But this is already the right canvas size. So the next thing that you're gonna want to do is try your best to isolate this part in the middle. Now I hit U. You can obviously see my keys up there. Hit U and click, hold, and drag to kind of select as much as that as I can without it going outside. And then I hold down Shift and left click to kind of select the missing bits. Let's go ahead and lasso it. And then I'm gonna go back to my selector here. just get these last little bits. Go. So that is pretty roughly what I would want. Yeah, so when you hold down click with the magic selector thingy, this one right here, the more you go left, the less it selects, and the more you go right, the more it selects when you're holding it down. But anyways, so now that you have that selected, you can hit Control I, and that will invert your selection, and then Shift E to get to your eraser, and you can just erase this here. And this will happen on some images. You'll see, that's black, that's not going, that's like not doing the whole alpha thing, which is fine, because there's a way to add the alpha. So if we go back to our layer, you just want to select your layer and go down to, that's a bit off screen actually. Here, I can drag it up like this. Add alpha channel right here. And let's see if I can get it back. That's pretty good. So once you add the alpha channel, then you'll be able to go in and erase some of this. Now sometimes it'll do this weird thing where it won't really erase it fully. I was just an idiot and I didn't have my opacity all the way up on my eraser, which is right here. So anyways, that looks kind of awful because it's supposed to be a transparent glass against a background, and it's just really hard to get a glass looking good. It's much better if you're doing something like this that's like a barrel. It's a lot easier to cut out from a background. But anyways, if it does have a white background and you still see a little border around it, in this case that didn't really happen, but in case it did, what you can do is go to select up here, and you're either gonna want to do shrink or grow. In this case, because we have the outside selected, we're going to grow by 1 pixel, and you see the selection goes in just a little bit. So now if I erase, you see it kind of removes the outside, and that's how you would remove like a little border if you got that, just to make it really clean. So that's how you basically make this isolated. I know it looks like garbage right now, but that's because I don't want to put effort, because it's a glass on a background, and that's one of the hardest things to do, especially when the background is not white. So anyways, we're gonna scrap that and go to, we'll just pretend that I spent lots of effort and got it to look like this, because I actually have a transparent version. So now that you have your image looking good, what you're gonna want to do is, normally what I do is I go ahead and duplicate a layer and then hide it by hitting the little eye down here. And then I take the one that is visible, go to colors, hue and saturation, and I lower the saturation all the way down. And then let's do file and export as. Now when you export it, you're gonna want to always make sure, let's see, shrink, 14 would be my next one. You're always going to want to make sure that you put the file name and then it's .tga, because that is the file type that the dev kit needs to read it correctly. So .tga is what you're going to want to save it as. So drink14.tga, export, and you can just leave it as bottom left. So export. There you go. So that is our desaturation right there. This one right here. Now we need our colorize. So there's a reason why I kept this one from before. It really depends on the case. In this case, it looks pretty good to do just something as simple as this. Something as simple as let's see. Right, something as simple as taking it, going to hue and saturation, and then making it red whenever, if you want it to line up with the rest of my things, always make the liquid red. So, there we go. That should look decent. There we go. That looks fine. So that was actually a best case scenario for colorize right there. That was super, super easy. Export as drink 14 colorize. And again, remember that it's a .tga. And then that is our colorize. Now I'm going to show you how to oh, I need to override that because I accidentally had the other layer visible. Alright, so now we're going to do one that's a bit more difficult and that has multiple colors. Let's see if I can find one real quick. That would be a good one. I want one opaque though. Right, I'll do both of these. So, one example. So the way that it works is there can only be 4 color regions. Or 5, my bad. Well, there can only be 5 color regions. Because the 6th one I use in the code for, just don't worry about it, I use it. So you can't. But these are all the colors that signify which region. I don't remember which one is which, but if you go in game and test it out according to these, you should be able to find which is which. I believe red is 1, blue is 2, maybe green is 4, and this is 5, and yellow 6. I don't remember exactly, but these are all the colors that you're going to want to use to colorize your thing. The only thing that I ask is please make sure that when you color the liquid part of it, that you keep the liquid part of it red. This one didn't have any liquid visible, so I just made the top red, but obviously, like for this one, the liquid red, it just keeps consistency. But if you don't, not too big of a deal. Anyways, let's quickly do a colorized thing for this one here. So I'm going to duplicate the layer and going to go to colors, hue and saturation. I'm going to lower that down and export it as drink 15. Right, now I'm going to take this. I'm actually going to duplicate it again. Delete this layer. And we're going to see what we can do to separate it. So that's pretty good. That was actually really easy to separate. Sometimes you have to go in there and just like select one by one or something like that, and it gets to be pretty annoying, but this case seemed to be pretty good. So once you have your first bit selected, so this is the liquid part of it, there's multiple different ways that you can do it. The best way that works 100% of the time would be to go to color and temperature, put original up and intended down, and that'll make the selected thing like green. If it doesn't make it completely green, you can try it again, and that's probably because you have a pretty dark color in there somewhere. But then what you want to do after you do that is go to hue and saturation and put that red. Right, that looks a little too bright, so I'm going to lower that down. Cool, that's pretty good. Now, what I like to do a lot of the time is go in here and fix it up. So if you hit O, that gets you the eyedropper, and you can just select this so you make sure it's the same exact color. If you hit N, it puts you on a brush, and we're just gonna make sure that this looks like that. Right, that should be good. Now, I have to decide if I want to take the easy way or the hard way. I guess I'll take the hard way. I'm gonna see what we can do about selecting this rope here. Okay. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to use a lasso here. Let's add another like that. Alright, and then finally one last lasso, and that should be pretty good. Oh, those blue bits are actually interesting. Okay. I'll be right back when I finish this. Alrighty. So I finished doing that. So now what we're gonna do is, I think this time, since I went by hand, we're probably just gonna color it in the line. So we're just gonna go here and select yellow, and there does seem to be a bit of an issue there. Alright. So we're gonna just go in here and clean this up a little bit. There we go. I'm actually gonna deselect so I can, oops, clean this up like that. Yeah, this is a pretty tedious process, but whatever. Now you understand why I don't want to do it for hundreds of icons when I could just get you guys to do it. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and select our two regions, and then I'm just going to invert to get our last region, and we're going to make this one green. And there we go. So a thing that you don't have to worry about is your colorize matching perfectly with your actual icon, because it actually takes the icon's transparency or alpha and applies the colorize to that. So it doesn't really matter. So now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and export that as drink 15 colorize. And there we go. That is how you make your own custom color regions and stuff like that. Obviously I didn't use all of them in this image, but again, use this as reference for your colors, and how you would want them to be if you want to use all of the regions that I have. Anyways, thank you for putting in the effort. Thank you for watching the video, and hope to see you guys soon.